Hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is a little bit gloomy today, but not inside here because we're talking about fun stuff. I'm just trying to get comfortable on my new core chair, which I am loving how much mobility I have when I am sitting. It's awesome. I think children need to have these. So here we go. Today's topic at hand that we are going to be discussing is my top 3 tips for what you need to consider before you go and get blood work done and before you go and pay for additional hormone paneling to be done. So for myself as a practitioner, these are 2 things that I am doing every single day from a clinical setting, is having clients and the women that I'm working with, the women that are moving through my programs, have yearly updated blood work, sometimes more depending on what's going on in their body, and then also at times doing additional hormone paneling. But it doesn't mean that that is where you begin. It doesn't mean that that is where you start, is by rushing out to get your blood work and rushing out to get your, Dutch hormone testing done or cortisol salivary testing done or even GI map stool testing done. First, you need to come from a place of understanding. And so since I've been talking so much about these various tests, I am getting inundated, like so many emails and private messages and direct messages that we really kind of can't keep up with, people asking, okay, is this what I'm supposed to do? Do I need to go and get my thyroid panel done? Do I need to go and get my Dutch panel done? And what I would say to you before you rush out and get any of those things done is to really start by asking yourself first where you're at right now. So the number one thing I think is dispelling this myth that our bodies are betraying us in some way, that our bodies are against us, that when we start to feel something is out of balance or out of sync, that we don't have energy, we're not sleeping, our skin is acting up, our digestion's all over the place, our emotions are all over the place, that means that there is fundamentally something wrong with us as a human being and that our body is breaking down and is kind of attacking us in a sense. And this is a lot of the verbiage that women are coming to me with, is they feel like their body is betraying them. They feel like they don't know what it is that they have done wrong. And they're kind of sinking fast and don't know how to get their head above water and get out of that. So the very first thing is understanding that your body is not betraying you. Why would your body ever do that to you? Your body is committed to keeping you alive and to thrive, not just survive. Your body's in this for the long haul. What your body is trying to do through these signs and symptoms is to get you to wake up, to get you to sit up a little bit taller and to pay attention. Our symptoms hold really magical messages for us on a daily basis. And so too often we think that we have to run to go and get the blood drawn, run to go and do the urine test or the salivary test in order to understand what we're feeling. And sometimes that is true. I am definitely in the group of let's test, not guess. But before we get to that place, you have to first start to really understand what is happening in your body. How do you feel on a daily basis? And go through all those different areas. How do I feel energetically? How do I feel digestively? How do I feel hormonally? What's going on with my cycle? Right? We have to understand that when we go and get blood work done and we get testing done, that these are snapshots of a moment in time when you had the test done itself. How you feel every single day is going to help you to paint a bigger picture and a more consistent picture of really knowing where you need to start and the next steps that you need to take for your own health and your body. This is one of the big things that I focus on with people, is helping them to create this timeline of what is actually going on in their system. So first big takeaway of this is that remember that your testing itself is a snapshot for a moment in time, but the body that you wake up with every single day, the signs and symptoms you feel consistently, are a bigger mirror for helping to point us in the right direction of figuring out what is going on in your body from a root cause. Okay, the data that happens when you wake up in the morning. Do you have energy? Are you snoozing often? Do you go to the bathroom first thing in the morning? Do you have aches and pains? What's your appetite like? Your cravings? What does your skin look like when you wake up? All of those different things. And then as a woman, there's also taking into account that not only do you get daily data, you get a monthly report card from your menstrual cycle and the various phases that happen throughout each one of the 4 phases in your menstrual cycle. That is a report card you get every single month. So as a parent how you have to wait, once a year or twice a year each term to find out how well your child is doing. You don't only find out from your body once a year when you get blood work done. You don't have to wait for that one moment in time. Every single day you can check in to see how your body is doing. And reproductively, every single month you're able to check in and see how your body is doing. So that is the first thing, is really paying attention to the signs and the symptoms of where your body is at. The second thing to understand with your testing and diagnostic work is who's interpreting it. Because if you're working with a doctor or a practitioner who's not asking you bigger questions about your life, who is like, let me ask you this, how many of you gone to the doctor because you don't feel well? You know fundamentally something is off in your system. You go, you get your blood work done, you either never get a phone call back, or you do get a call back, or you call back in to get a paper copy and you're told you're fine. Everything's normal. Your blood work is completely normal, but you don't feel normal. There is nothing normal about the way that you've been feeling in your system. Give me a tap on the screen if you have ever had that happen to yourself before, where you can feel that something is off, but you're told that everything is normal and everything is fine. Okay? If you're working with somebody who is not asking you the bigger questions, are you sleeping? What are you feeding your body? Do you take any core supplements? Are you moving your body? Tell me more about what's going on. What's your family's health history? And they just get this blood work and you're sitting within, the typical benchmarks and typical reference ranges. You can be held at that line of fine. Everything's fine. You're fine. I would tell you that out of every 10 women who come into my practice, at least 8 of them who are bringing me in updated, fresh blood work are actually not fine. That they are sitting on the low end, on the suboptimal end and range of where their blood work should be, on where certain levels should be. And the other 2 out of 10 are sitting so far below that I don't even actually really understand how it is that they are managing to get through their day. It's on sheer will and obligation to show up and to do those things for the people in their life and for their job and for their kids and all of that. So interpreting it is important. If you as a woman are going to get hormonal testing done and you're working with a doctor or a family practitioner and you want to get your progesterone levels tested, you want to understand reproductively where things are at, and they go and test your progesterone when you're on your period or on day 8 or day 10 of your cycle, as opposed to days 18 to 22, there's going to be a huge difference and huge swing. When we're testing something like progesterone, it only makes sense. It only gives us the best concrete information about your female body when it's measured in that 3 to 4 day period of time, because that is when our progesterone should be at its peak. And if we see that it's low there, then we know that you have lower levels of progesterone. If you're testing your progesterone when you're on your period or just after your period, of course those levels are going to be low. They're supposed to be low. And so oftentimes women get incorrect information and data about their body because the person they're working with is not testing it at the appropriate time. It's the same thing with Dutch hormone paneling, which is a more sophisticated and, to me, the Cadillac way of testing hormones. This is one of the premier tests that I use in my practice. And this is a urine-based test. So the timing of the testing is critical, crucial, and so important, okay? So first thing, number 1 is understanding. Start to actually collect the data on a daily basis that your body is communicating with you. If this is something that is happening often, you need to actually start to write this information down so that you don't forget it. Pay attention to your cycle. Understand for yourself what you need to be asking for in your blood work, when that you should be tested. If your primary physician does not know this is when you want to connect with somebody like myself or functional medicine practitioner, somebody who understands and knows what they need to be asking for and when they need to be testing for it. The next thing is that you need to get a paper copy of every single test that you have. So with your blood work, you need to leave the doctor's office with a physical paper copy so that you can start to create yourself a file so you have all of those documents for yourself. When you do something like the Dutch testing, it's so fantastic. They send you your entire report of findings. They send you a disc with it. It is amazing, okay? And that test gets directly shipped to your house. So we have 2 ways to do it. People who live local, I'll order them all in and then disperse them out. Otherwise, I just get it shipped directly to your home. You run the test yourself, you send it back to the lab, and then those lab reports and the report of findings come back to myself. And then I actually, when I'm doing this type of testing with clients, with their blood work, with their Dutch hormone testing, we do it on a video chat like this, and I pull up all of their blood work, all of their data, all of their results, and walk them through one by one so they understand what they're reading. They understand the information that their body is bringing forward, because when you're more informed, you can understand why now there's a certain protocol, certain things to remove from your body, certain things to add to your body, because you can see this real raw data and information right in front of your eyes. The third and final thing that you need to do before you even get to that place where you're requesting more blood work and investing in doing the additional testing, because hormone testing is not going to be covered by your family doctor. It's not going to be covered by your OHIP. When you're ordering something like the Dutch hormone paneling, it's going to cost you anywhere from $300 to $400 to $500 US. Okay, it is coming from Precision Analytics in the States. This is not something you can request from your MD. They're not going to do it. Your ND or naturopath would be able to order and do this. Functional medicine practitioners, holistic nutritionists, somebody who has a practice like myself, we can order and bring these things in. But before you run out, like I would say, if today's the day that you realize your body is out of balance, but you've not yet started to change any lifestyle factors, please don't go and spend the money right away on doing those tests. The first thing that you need to do is ask yourself, are you taking care of you now? Are you removing the things that you know are irritating your system the most? Are you hydrating your body? Are you eating healthfully? Are you sleeping? If you're not sleeping and your levels of cortisol and your internal circadian rhythm and your blood sugar are unbalanced and all over the map, if your melatonin is low, you are not healing. And this is going to keep you in a chronic low-grade state of systemic inflammation in your body. So of course we're going to see things that are out of balance. So I would recommend that you start to work on first. Get yourself into a solid sleep routine. Even if in the beginning it means that you're not sleeping, can you start to lie down at the same time every night? Can you get off the devices in the evening? Can you make sure that your room is dark and black? These are all the checklist I go through in the Simplicity Project book. Can you sleep in as little clothing as possible? Can you try to wake around the same time each day? Can you be stimulated by light when you wake in the morning? Can you make sure that rest is your priority? Are you giving your body the proper food that you need each day? Not a lot of starches, not a lot of sugar, not a lot of dairy, if any at all. Are you getting in lots of vegetables? Are you getting in ample amounts of fiber as well as your hydration? Are you getting in healthy sources of fat? Lean products that are protein-based, that are grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, hormone-free, like really good quality? Are you putting good quality things into your body so that we can see a shift from your body? Because if the answer is no, I'm a total kind of gong show. I'm not eating healthy, I'm not exercising, I'm not sleeping. Well, of course your blood work is going to reflect that. So why don't we pull back a little bit? Why don't we give you a couple of months of trying to actually set a foundation and a base in your body first? Then let's go and do the blood work. Then let's see where you're starting at, because too often people run to get the full gamut of blood work done, the hormone paneling and everything. And I'm, pardon my language, but it's going to be a shit show. It is going to reflect the state that you already feel you're in mentally and emotionally. And it's not where we need to begin. I don't need to have any of that data starting off with most people. Now, if you come to me and you've already been on this healthy journey and you're like, Jen, I'm doing all the things right. I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising, I'm trying to get to bed, I'm using the essential oils, I'm, doing the mindset work, and I'm still having these problems. This is when we go into doing the full blood work paneling, the full hormone panel testing. It's when we take a deeper dive. But if you're just starting off and you are just beginning to initiate this healthy living and journey, you might need a few more months of being really consistent with your healthy daily habits before we run and get the testing done. Because there's nothing worse than already being in a state of not feeling good, going and getting the testing done before you've even tried to change your lifestyle on your own, having scary results come back to you, and then be so paralyzed by the fear of it that you try and do something drastic, you try and do a quick fix, those types of things. So you've got to be really cognizant of the approach that you are taking and how you are starting off to take care of your body. So let's go back through these. The first one is dispelling and breaking up with the myth and the story that your body is actually working against you and that your body is betraying you. It is not true at all. It is the reminder every day that your signs and symptoms are holding magical messages for you, and it is up to you. This is one of your superhuman powers, especially as a woman, as a mom. Your intuition is so strong to pay attention to the messages and the signs your body is giving you. You need to start to track these down. You need to actually pay attention to the daily data and monthly data of your cycles that's happening in your body. You are essentially building yourself a case study, little journal next to your bed. Just take some of these notes down, okay? The next thing is also making sure that when and if you're getting testing done, you're working with somebody that knows how to properly set the test up, meaning that the timing of the test is critical to what we are testing. Whether this is blood sugar we're looking at, whether it's your thyroid paneling we're looking at, whether it is your reproductive hormones that we're looking at, the timing and how we do the testing is critical. The second phase of that is that whoever is running your testing has to know how to break down the information to you so that you understand what all of these values and formulas and numbers and reference ranges actually mean, so that you become empowered in the process and that you start to become educated. Because it is only through the understanding that real change, lasting change will come, in my opinion. When you know and understand better and more, and then you can see what is actually happening on the inside of your body, in your blood, in your cells, in your hormonal system. Now you don't have to come from this place of, oh, I don't have self-control, I'm not motivated. No, you are so frigging motivated because now you're seeing information that is coming from your physiology, your human body. And once you understand and someone breaks down why it's so important that your eyes stay focused on this number and that you keep your energy angled over here, you will naturally start to do those things, okay? It'll start to make sense. The other thing that happens when you understand and know more about what your body's telling you, all your priorities shift. Your ladder and your sense of core values as to what you choose to do with your time in your day, where your finances are spent, right? Where the money goes in your grocery cart, in your cupboard, in your home, wherever it may be, everything starts to change because now you have a deeper level of understanding. And what once was important, having the brand name purse, having the, fanciest car, whatever it may be, all of a sudden that stuff does not matter because you look and see there's money I'm leaking that I could be putting into this body to be the wife, the woman, the mother that I want to show up at, to feel the way I want to feel without feeling like I'm so financially strapped. And I say this from a really honest, authentic place because I have been there. Those of you who are part of my Simplicity Project right now and the Hormone Project, I take you through all the finance stuff, what I had to do to get from that place where, money was really tight and I was not willing to sacrifice my family's health and well-being. So I sacrificed a whole bunch of other stuff that never really mattered anyways, in order to be able to show up vibrant and healthy and stay committed and connected to that. So again, once you have the understanding, it's not just the level of knowledge about how you take care of your body. Everything else changes. It can't not, okay? Then the next thing is to ask yourself, what are you doing right now to take care of you, right? What are you doing? Are you eating well? Are you resting well? Are you hydrating? Are you taking care of the fundamentals? And then the final part is, what will you do with the results? This is one of the biggest questions that I ask the women who come to me and say, I want to get the full panel done. I want to join the Hormone Project. I want to get everything done. And I'm like, okay, tell me though what you're going to do. Like, what are you going to do? Investing the money in the program, investing the money in the test, investing the money in the supplements. What are you prepared to do moving forward? What are you going to do with the results? Because if you're just going to file it away in a drawer and you know that you're not ready to make some of those changes yet, then that's not where you begin. Where you begin is establishing a better relationship and talk with your body in terms of what your signs and symptoms are. Where you begin is waking up and making sure every day you get no less than 2 liters of water in. Where you begin is when it's a sunny day, not just looking at that sun through a window, but you get your butt outside and you don't suntan, you go for a walk. Where you begin is instead of being on your phone at night in your bed, you open up a book that's made out of paper and you flip pages and you read it. Where you begin is doing a brain dump in the morning and write your morning pages and get all of the stuff that is trapped up inside your brain, trapped up inside your heart, your nervous system, all of your cells, and you barf it out onto paper and you just write and write and write and write. Those are the places you begin. The test will be there for you. And some of you are at a place where you're ready. That is your next level because you've been on this journey for a long, long time. And now you're ready. You're ready to know more data. You know what to do with the information. But if you're just starting, I would rather see you take the money that you would spend on some of the higher caliber tests, if it's not necessary right now, and put that money into your grocery cart. Put that into getting you set up on the foundational supplements. Put that into getting you to move your body more often. Put that into being able for you to maybe work a little bit less and not stress out financially so that you can actually rest and give your body what it really requires to heal, okay? So Like I said, you have to understand where you are at on this journey to understand and really know where are you allocating the funds and where and when is the testing really necessary. The final thing I will say to all of you today is that your blood work, the standard blood work that you get through OHIP, is not full blood work. Hi, Jackie. It is not full blood work. Okay, just getting your, total blood cell count done and your hemoglobin and your glucose, that is not total blood work. You need to request specifically. And those of you that are in any of my groups, we do a full blood write-up for you so that you actually have a request list to take to your doctor's office. And you need to work with a practitioner who is going to provide you that information, because you will not get that from your family doctor. Oftentimes you actually begrudgingly have to beg and request to have specific things done. So as a woman, you need to know, yes, all of the, your TBCs and your white blood cell count, red blood cell count, your hemoglobin, but you also need to know ferritin, okay? If your doctor will test it, what's your iron saturation? What's your TIBC, which is your total iron binding capacity? What's your B12? What's your vitamin D? You're going to have to pay for it. Pay for the test to understand what this is so we know how to appropriately dose you when it comes to supplementation. What are your glucose levels? What's your C-reactive protein level? What is your estrogen levels, progesterone, DHEA? Right? What levels do you have in your body in terms of not just those inflammatory markers, but what could be in there that is actually aggravating your system? Are your antibodies elevated? With your thyroid, it's not just TSH. You need to have TSH, but you also need to know free T4, T3, reverse T3, your 2 thyroid antibodies, the full panel. And if you have to pay out of pocket, you pay out of pocket and get those tests done. Because yes, maybe it's a couple of $100 extra you have to pay now, but you need to flip this and ask yourself, how long have you been suffering for? How much have you spent on products, programs, and things that you didn't stick with or that didn't work for you? You don't feel any different. Get the information out of your body. Understand, test, don't guess. When you get to that place where you can say, Jen, I have done so many things outside of the testing already to try and take care of my body. This is when you're ready to jump into that next phase. This is when you're ready to go deeper, to dig a little bit, and then to have that fresh type of protocol put through for your body. Okay, so I just wanted to hop on here today because, again, we've had so many messages coming in. Everybody wants to test everything left, right, and center, and I think it's fantastic. Listen, my wish for you all is that if budget was not an issue, you would all have every single year full gamut of blood work. You would have your Dutch paneling done every single year. You would have GI mapping, stool testing done every single year. That is my wish for every single human and your children, is that we all have the ability to have all of that done. And trust me when I say this, there are so many of us functional practitioners working behind the scenes in the holistic industry to try to make these things more available and to happen for you all and to make it more accessible. Right now, the system is the way that it is. So stay a student. Make sure you pay attention, keep yourself engaged, and continue to ask the questions. I am going to be taking Simplicity TV, which is my YouTube channel, which we start filming for again in a couple of weeks, but I'm also creating a weekly live version. So in June, you'll start to see that we have weekly live classes just like this. You'll be able to submit all of your Q&As. It'll shape what it is that we are talking about on Simplicity TV. And my new podcast, The Simplicity Sessions, which is all about women's health, supporting you, your family, your children, everything from nutrition and movement to your finances, your home, all of it, everything in between. Mindset is a huge part of it, and that'll launch June 11th. So lots of great things coming down the pipeline. Leave me a comment down below, any questions you have on anything that I was talking about, any comments. Let me know if this was helpful, and have a fantastic rest of your day. This is part 2, by the way. The first part, which we got kind of dropped off, lost our connection halfway through. We'll have both them posted.